The concept of being a man has been deeply tarnished in the modern world, not just by the feminist movement, but also by the red pillars. One has tried to feminize masculinity and rid the world off the force which created the modern structure we see today. The other tries to put up a fake image of masculinity to cater to the weak and impressionable. It tells boys that, to be a man, you have to work on all these superficial aspects of yourself, like becoming filthy rich, dating the hottest women, or driving the fastest car. So, in today's day, we have to ask ourselves this question a few times. What does it truly mean to be a man? It's a question that, a century ago, would have seemed absurd, because back then, everyone just seemed to know the answer. But here we are in the modern era, marked by an identity crisis in men. How we reached this point is complicated and a waste of time to argue about. The fact is, this is where we find ourselves. When you look around for an answer, you'll find many different kinds of masculinity, machismo for example, which are nothing but a show of unwritten protocols with evolving rules and standards. The only purpose they serve is to offer a glimpse of understanding of what it is to be a man, letting the ill-informed not have to deal with the negligence of their ignorance. But that is inevitable when you're blind. Any such forms of pseudo-masculinity, or even femininity, are at their core, only performative and nothing more. When most masculinity gurus on the internet talk about how to be a man, their talk or advice almost solely aligns with performative masculinity. They suggest doing things to signify your status as a man, like maybe growing a massive beard, or getting into weightlifting, or being around 10 women at once, or mastering manual transmission and scoffing at automatic. While these things might be enjoyable and some even beneficial, the problem with them is that they define masculinity as only a group of behaviors. This makes it exactly what I've been calling it, a performance. Remember, if you can become something by just tweaking this right here or that right there, you're doing it wrong. Nothing of meaning in life can just be worn like a costume. You don't become a doctor by putting on a white coat and some stethoscope. You become a doctor by years and years, even decades of study, work, determination, and resilience. What makes you a doctor is not what people see on the surface, which sure looks cool, but it's the knowledge in your mind that gives you that title. You probably know well enough how tedious of a job it is to get all that information in your head. The same goes for being a car mechanic, a lawyer, an entrepreneur, an engineer. But you know what? Let's simplify it. What does it really mean to be a man? I'll give you a foundational answer. It's straightforward and only marginally associated with what you do or what you look like. To be a man, you need two things. That's it. All you need is a spine and some balls. There you have it. The cat's out of the bag. Some of you probably thought it'd be something you can't even imagine, let alone obtain. But sometimes reality is simple. It's the perception of the human mind which overcomplicates things. So, to be a man, you need to have a spine and some balls. But wait, doesn't every human male possess those too? In the physical sense, yes. But figuratively, a lot of human males can be classified as snotty slimes, not men. I mean it. The thing about being a man is, the trait is universal. You might have an arch enemy that you hate with your guts, but you'll still be able to respect him as a man. Why? Because of his spine and balls. Having a spine means standing up for what you believe to be true, acknowledging and understanding your values, and having the courage to be true to yourself. It's about knowing who you are and what you believe in. Most men today, they don't stand for anything. They don't value their community, their country. They don't have a religion. They don't have an ideal. They can't tell wrong from right. They can't shed light on the issues their own people face. They're just shells of a human body with no depth to them. When you study history, you come across all these men, who you may agree with or not, who lived with a code. You don't have to agree with their code, obviously, but they didn't live pretending to be anybody they were not. They had an identity. There was an idea they believed in, and they fought for it. They had a spine. It's not just for the leaders to have a spine, but it's crucial for the common folk like you and me too. If one deems his life worthless and forgoes any sense of autonomy, he is nothing more than cattle, a sheep. Standing up with a spine also casts a shadow, marking you out in the world, and that's what scares most people away. It means attracting opposition, disagreement, and threats. There are going to be people who don't think like you, act like you, or perceive like you. Before, you could just slide your way around in life, but now, you'll have to stand up for yourself and defend your ideas, honor, and belief. It's only more work on your shoulders. If I'm to be honest, it might put your health or even your life in danger. But still, it's a risk worth taking to stand up for what is right. The alternative, which is remaining spineless, leads to a life of not knowing who you are or what you believe in. You live like a soulless entity, drifting in pride of being nothing more than a statistic. It's pathetic. Now the other thing which makes you a man, and that's having some balls on you. Having balls means being willing to suffer the risks associated with being an individual with values and beliefs. It means putting your beliefs into action, not caring about approval or disapproval, and, if necessary, putting everything on the line for what you believe is true. Like you have people without spines in the world, there are also those who believe in something, but they're too afraid to voice out their opinion. They see injustice right in front of them, but won't speak out because of a fear of the repercussions they might have to face. It's equally pathetic of a reality. Remember, it's having both a spine and some balls that gets you true respect as a man, both from your friends and your foes. Respect comes to those who are willing to stand up for what they believe in, regardless of the consequences. Paradoxically, others are also drawn to those who don't seem to care whether they are liked or not. So, in essence, if you know who you are, what you believe in, and are willing to stand up for it, congratulations, you're a man. You don't need to adhere to a checklist of things one has to get down to finally become a man. All you need is a spine and some balls. Without these, all the other things are just props, and you can never be a full-fledged man. I hope you found value in today's video. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.